Hello, my name is George Shamon, and this is my YouTube channel. It's about how to use Linux operating system and especially the command line using Bash shell. And this YouTube channel is intended for beginners to intermediate. It's not for advanced. If you're advanced, you already know what I'm going to be talking about in this channel. So this is one of the big first videos I'm creating, and it's very important if you want to use Linux to know how to install it, because if you don't know how to install it, you're not gonna get to the point where you have it installed on your system and to use it. So let's go over how to install Linux operating system. The one I'm using is Mint Linux. There are so many distributions like Ubuntu, Fedora, Trustix, and others. I tried different ones, and I prefer right now using Linux Mint because it has a modern style, and it's very easy to use. It's got a lot of options, a lot of applications built in it. You don't have to look for them, and it's got the Bash shell installed as most Linux distributions. So let's get started. First, I'm gonna go over the 5 simple steps to install Linux Mint. First, we download Linux operating system from the website, and I will show you in a minute what website you go to. The second step is to create a boot removable drive like USB removable stick or DVD read write, so you can record on it the bootable image. The third one is restart your computer. The fourth one is you have to change the boot sequence during restart to make your bootable drive as a first choice. This way the system will look at it first and boot from it. And the last one, the fifth step, is follow the instruction on the screen. You just have to follow the instructions on the screens and fill out some basic information, and you just hit next until the system will give you the message that it's complete and you have to restart now. By that time, you will be done with installing the Linux operating system. So first, the download Linux operating system. To download it, you have to go to the website, and since we're talking about Mint, you go to www.linuxmint.com. That's their website. So if you look on the top, it says download here, and you just have to hit this link, download, and you go down, and you can see a list here. It says download links, and you just choose which one you want to download. I did it a few days ago, and I already downloaded the operating system. This way I save you some time. And I used Cinnamon, and since my system is 64-bit, so that's the link you click. And once you click this link, you're gonna be taken to another screen where you have a list of mirrors. It means websites where you can download your operating system, and you look for one which is closer to you in a distance. This way you'll get a faster download. So that's it for downloading the operating system. So this is what it is here. I downloaded it yesterday, and this is how it looks like. Linux Mint 1803 Cinnamon 64-bit.iso. So if we go to step 3 now, the third step is to create a bootable removable drive. After you download, and this is the operating system here, in this third step, actually in the second step, you have to create a bootable USB memory stick or DVD read write. And the way you do it, you just click on the image here, on the icon of the operating system, and you right click it, and you go up. It says make bootable USB stick. Now there is a way you can install the bootable on a CD-ROM or CD read write DVD, but I've been having problems, and I'm finding it much easier to use the bootable USB stick, and this is why they have it here, I guess. So you just hit make bootable USB stick. You click on this one, and then you're gonna get this window. It says write image, and it's gonna give you the downloaded file of the operating system, and then it says to. It says write image from to. So you click down, and you're gonna get generic flash disk, and you want to make sure it stays here. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't, like now it changed to blank. So make sure it is generic flash, and now you just have to hit this tab here. It says write. So I hit write, and then the system will prompt me to enter my password. So I already have Linux installed here. You may have Windows or other systems installed. You follow the same procedure. So now I hit authenticate, and now it starts to create the image on the USB port, and you want to make sure it still shows here generic flash drive, even though it's grayed out. If it didn't show here, it means it's not going to creating the. You have to start from the beginning. You have to close this window and then reopen it. So now it's going to create the image. It says it's going to give you the process as it's performing the transfer, and now we're at 6%. Let's wait until it becomes 100. So basically we went over the 2 steps now: the downloading the operating system, and then creating the memory stick. So it's at 10-11% now. Now the configuration I'm using, the system I'm using is a desktop, and I already devoted it for Linux operating system, and I have Windows on my laptop. It's a separate unit. You can, if you only have one computer, you can install Linux beside Windows if you have space on a hard disk, and this is called a dual boot machine. Then you'll be able to boot your machine to Linux or Windows or other systems. But I prefer to have a computer especially for Linux. You don't want to make things more complicated and during the boot and other processes, and in case you want to make changes or remove one of the operating systems, you might have some issues. It's not an easy task. So now we're at 22%, 23%, and I have my obvious USB stick installed. Plugged in the computer, and it's being the image is being created. So let's move this to the top, and as I'm looking at it, then the next step is, after you're done creating the image, you have to restart your computer so it will boot from the USB you're creating the image from. So once you restart, you don't want to let the computer to get to the end and present the operating system which is already installed. You have to make sure during the install, while you have a dark screen, you didn't see any text or any images yet, you have to enter the setup screen, and on my computer it's F10. It might change on different computers. It might be F9, or you might be a shift button or control. You have to find out from your computer. So in my case, I hit F10, and I will enter the setup screen, and one of the options in the setup screen, it says boot and boot sequence. So you just move to the boot sequence, and change your first choice of booting device to the USB. This way, the system, when the system starts, it will look first at the USB image that you created, and that's it. Once you do that, the system is gonna go ahead and look at the USB port and start from the USB drive looking at the image, and then you just have to wait until it starts presenting screens. At this point, basically you don't have to do anything after change in the boot sequence and the system restarted and it's booting from the image. You don't have to do anything, you just have to wait. And then you start getting screens that will ask you for information, basic information, and you hit next on each one to get to the next one. And in a few minutes, it might take, it depends on the system and the speed and how big is the operating system. It can take up to 15 to half an hour sometimes. So mine usually about 20 minutes. So once you're done, that's it. You don't have to do anything. The next time, and the system then will give you a message to remove the USB and hit enter to restart. So once you remove the USB port and you hit restart, it's gonna start fresh from the new image that you installed on a computer. So basically, that's it. And then you'll have the login screen, because during installation you have to supply the username, at least one username and a password, and this is what you use when you log in the next time when the system is ready. So basically that's it. That's all what you have to do. And as you can tell, the USB is still being created. It's at 64%, and so at this point, once the USB port is created at 100%, I just have to, I think it's switched for some reason here, I touched it. But anyway, once it gets to 100%, you make sure you don't touch anything here to keep seeing the USB drive here. And then you restart, and if I restart now, you're not going to be able to see what's going to happen next, because the screencasting does not register, does not record everything after rebooting. I'm going to lose everything. So that's it. If you have any questions or issues, or you need any more clarifications, just add your notes. And if you have any questions and you need me to explain other videos about certain subjects, or just add your questions on the bottom and do not hesitate. Also, you can subscribe in order to be notified whenever I have new videos. Again, thank you very much for your time and reviewing this video. My name is George Shamon, and this YouTube channel is for Linux users who are beginning to learn Linux, or intermediate Linux users, and especially how to use the command line in Bash shell after you install Linux on your computer, because the power of Linux lies in a command line. It's not in a graphical user interface. But even though the graphical user interface is makes it easier to get acquainted with Linux operating system, but at one point you have to start using the shell and the commands, which are very powerful, and you can execute very complicated commands, especially when you combine them together with the switches and options. Thank you.